This could be a nifty little bit of hustle bustle.
Wait, do you have his address?
Just trying to keep up with the hustle and bustle.
It's just so freaking hard to track her down. She's here, there, and everywhere.
We've got concerts all over the place. Here, there, and everywhere.
Can't. We're in bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Bumper-to-bumper, the avenue's bare. It's bumper-to-bumper.
But traffic on I-93 was bumper to bumper.
Okay, that's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the Hillary stuff.
On another gorgeous sunny Saturday, I'm seeing that bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Traffic, bumper-to-bumper.
Did he expect me to turbo boost over 10 miles of bumper-to-bumper traffic?
Away from Route 1, it's bumper-to-bumper all the way to the interstate.
Hey, you know how the Harbor Freeway is always bumper-to-bumper?
Stop winning, for crying out loud. We're running out of bumper cream to sell.
Wait! It's bumper-to-bumper from here to the airport!
Whoa! Almost took off.
People from all over these parts headed for Marfa bumper to be in the movie.
I think I'll be black and blue tomorrow.
To make myself all black and blue.
I get a black and blue mark, you monger, you're dead!
Tired and scared with black and blue marks on my elbow.
You see my hand? It's all black and blue.
We'll fight until you're PC black and blue.
You should have seen him lying there, all black and blue.
Yolanda, why is your eye all black and blue and
Ochre.
Ochre. Ochre.
Ochre.
And I will not only spit in your eye, but I will punch it black and blue.
Brown and scarlet and black and ochre in peach.
I will spit you black and blue until you never get home.
Black and blue for a while.
I snapped at her until she was black and blue. All over.
Black and blue. Fight night.
She'd come back black and blue, would she?
Normal wear and tear.
No wear and tear. No scars. Wear and tear on the molds? We have to remake them every other week.
Related to normal wear and tear.
The wear and tear was wrecking my regular shirt.
Normal wear and tear.
4 years of poor posture and wear and tear.
You've got to expect a little wear and tear.
It's gonna create a lot of wear and tear on your pump.
Some ligament wear and tear in your C-spine.
Same reasonable wear and tear. Switch it off during the daytime.
I was old, probably. Just wear and tear.
I owe her a new set anyway with all the wear and tear it got from being.
The wear and tear of the 8 shows a week and
The electrocution of that swimming pool was put down to natural wear and tear.
Did you seriously just say hitherto
I have not hitherto sought any nuptial arrangements.
and travel to worlds hitherto undreamed of? I have used my hitherto unmentioned...
What I'm saying, exactly, is if we're gonna go on turning a blind eye, we're gonna need a bit more encouragement from now on. Let's say...
Anyway, she was always good at turning a blind eye. Bless her.
No! God turned a blind eye and let her die out here, alone and afraid.
I even turned a blind eye when you failed to tell me that you were married, which, as you know, came as quite a surprise.
You turn a blind eye, you have no choice.
And obviously I'm not going to turn a blind eye, no matter how absurd I find all of this.
Now, as it stands, the bogies have turned a blind eye to our little contretemps.
Americans always turn a blind eye to what we've done to our own.
Rum? Oh, no. No. I could never turn a blind eye to that.
It's too easy to turn a blind eye to the suffering of a people you don't know.
Spent years turning a blind eye to that pervert's, shall we say, filmmaking aspirations?
You were all responsible for turning a blind eye to the butchery of my people.
To the corrupt politicians who turn a blind eye to all of this and send their children to private schools and hospitals, yet leave our systems to fall into fucking ruins.
We both turn a blind eye to the consequences, us.
The giant spacecraft.
And in return, I'd like you to turn a blind eye to what I have to do.
Now I know that whomever supplied her with the glint.
Glinting underwater like jagged diamonds.
Glint, glisten, scintillation.
With this glinting dew,
cast in gold and mount it on my wall.
How'd you like to tell everyone in your park, I mean your block, that you have a bird deer mounted on your wall? To mount the scaffolds. Security cams mounted on top of the elevator.
There's 6 drain pipes tied together and mounted on a pram for mobility.
The signal from the camera, which is mounted on the glasses, goes directly to a chip which is implanted in the visual cortex of the brain.
When Bill's dressed for a ride, mounted on that high stepping stallion of his, any doubts concerning his legends are soon forgotten.
A bust mounted on a pedestal.
Now, what kind of device has a telescopic sight mounted on it?
Well, the mark, Brian, is the barcode, the ubiquitous barcode that you'll find on every bog roll, on every packet of Johnnies, on every poxy pork pie, and
With the help of my ubiquitous clandestine informants, I have learned that the mayor has told the fire chief to catch me with those chains on the doors.
Before the success, the ubiquitous human-sized police robot.
Simple and ubiquitous ant.
Football's ubiquitous in Texas.
With the help of my ubiquitous clandestine
I lean toward the postal.
I'm leaning towards lilac.
My alter ego, so to speak.
Step, so to speak.
It's a prophylactic, so to speak.
In their totalitarianism, so to speak.
At present, he was working on his magnum opus, a great New York novel in the tradition of Fitzgerald, Edith Wharton.
Wetting your beak, so to speak.
Minnetonka Press has agreed to publish my magnum opus.
We know, and that was a wonderful idea, but the book has become a magnum opus.
But she recovered and proved that she could indeed hold her own as a wild lioness.
Hey, we should go our own ways.
Mike, the time comes when we just all have to go our own ways, you know?
We gotta go our own ways.
But I think we should just shake hands and everybody go their own way.
Want their separate ways to star in their own spin-offs.
She just wants to save her own skin. It's as simple as that.
They went their own private ways, found their own friends.
How do I know you didn't abandon him to save your own skin?
He'd say whatever it takes to save his own skin.
In order to save your own skin.
In your own time, but quite quickly.
A few months, Elliot's come into her own as a doctor.
A man after my own heart.
Well, Tom's come into his own.
You're obviously a poet, a man after my own heart.
Your brother's a man after my own heart.
A man after his own heart?
Man after my own heart. There you go.
An institution after my own heart.
Girl after my own heart. What's your name?
I gotta admit, living out in the woods, doing things his own way. Sounds like a boy after your own heart.
You're a man after our own heart, son. I'll see you in hell.
A man after my own heart.
You know that Gransom's a man after my own heart.
No, I was under the auspices that it was a tracking device.
Shut up.
You're a man after my own heart, Books.
She is unflappable.
If you want to live in people's memories, to go down to posterity as an important man, you better do something about it quickly.
The posting was quite explicit in this.
His wishes for privacy were quite explicit.
He wrote that explicitly in his bio.
Hey, we should go our own ways.
But she recovered and proved that she could indeed hold her own as a wild lioness. We gotta go our own ways.
Mike, the time comes when we just all have to go our own ways, you know?
But I think we should just shake hands and everybody go their own way.
Want their separate ways to star in their own spin-offs.
She just wants to save her own skin. It's as simple as that.
They went their own private ways, found their own friends.
How do I know you didn't abandon him to save your own skin?
He'd say whatever it takes to save his own skin.
In order to save your own skin.
A few months, Elliot's come into her own as a doctor.
In your own time, but quite quickly.
Well, Tom's come into his own.
A man after my own heart.
Your brother's a man after my own heart.
You're obviously a poet, a man after my own heart.
Man after my own heart. There you go.
A man after his own heart?
Girl after my own heart. What's your name?
An institution after my own heart.
You're a man after our own heart, son. I'll see you in hell.
I gotta admit, living out in the woods, doing things his own way. Sounds like a boy after your own heart.
You know that Gransom's a man after my own heart.
A man after my own heart.
You're
You're a man after my own heart, Books.
No, I was under the auspices that it was a tracking device.
Shut up. She is unflappable.
If you want to live in people's memories, to go down to posterity as an important man, you better do something about it quickly.
The posting was quite explicit in this.
His wishes for privacy were quite explicit.
He wrote that explicitly in his bio.
You burned a bridge with me.
Didn't want to burn a bridge.
Hey, maybe don't burn the bridge.
Both burn that bridge.
So you're gonna burn that bridge?
Apparently that bridge has been burned.
Once you burn...
I burned all my bridges. Burned all my bridges.
Oh, we burned that bridge.
Burn my bridges.
Two BND agents struck it lucky when in 2003 they managed to snag Saddam Hussein's plan to defend the Iraqi capital, Baghdad. The German
They left their miserable job hoping to strike it lucky and build themselves a big house. But their entire fortune for now is this small cabin, just fine.
Hey, but one New York passenger really struck it lucky in 2018 when their driver revealed that he had some big news to share. He'd made the front of the NYC taxi driver's calendar. Here he is, Mr. December. And take a look at Mr. July and Mr. August crushing the game too. Vogue would be jealous. Being a parent.
One miner who did strike it lucky was Bert Shively. Cornering his runaway burrow in a remote canyon, the exec a rock to hurl at that stubborn beast.
If he does strike it lucky, news of his find would spread fast, and this peaceful valley could soon be swarming with greedy prospectors.
Again, when do I strike it lucky and have something for my own?
I think I finally struck it lucky.
For Halloween, I departed from the traditional superhero, or ghoul, and instead dressed as 7-time mathlete champion, Franklin Stubbs.
Sit out the years. Find a nice, quiet town.
Is your father sitting out your campaign?
Taking little snatches of your conversation.
I just want a place to sit out the winter.
So Grindelwald has the ability to see snatches of the future.
By the snatches of rebel conversation I overheard in the hallways, and by their frequent whisperings.
Then sit out this case.
You want to sit this one out? Tell me. Sit this play out.
Sit this one out.
Primary, sit it out.
What would you be doing if you weren't acting? If you weren't acting, do you have any sense of what your second choice would have been?
But that's only a backdrop to something else.
It's a murder mystery set against the backdrop of a chemical company.
That and anything set against the backdrop of competitive cheerleading.
Against the backdrop of the conflict in Ukraine. And against the backdrop of intensified efforts to find Saddam Hussein's suspected caches of weapons of mass destruction.
Set against the backdrop of fighting commies.
Your art photo studio had tons of backdrops.
I'll steel myself.
I feel myself.
At the very end of your ponytail. The end of the street.
Actually, almost, we were at the very end of sex, you know?
At the very end of Haydn's cello concerto number 2, it happened.
True and noble to the very end.
But they fought until the very end.
And then stay until the very, very end.
Very end of a Scooby-Doo episode. Very cute.
With the help of my ubiquitous clandestine informants, I have learned that the mayor has told the fire chief to catch me with those chains on the doors.
Simple and ubiquitous ant.
Before the success, the ubiquitous human-sized police robot.
With the help of my ubiquitous clandestine
I lean toward the postal.
Football's ubiquitous in Texas.
I'm leaning towards lilac.
My alter ego, so to speak.
In their totalitarianism, so to speak.
So to speak.
Wetting your beak, so to speak.
It's a prophylactic, so to speak.
At present, he was working on his magnum opus, a great New York novel in the tradition of Fitzgerald, Edith Wharton.
We know, and that was a wonderful idea, but the book has become a magnum opus.
My magnum opus shelved. Minishonka Press has agreed to publish my magnum opus.
I don't know what a magnum opus is.
Did you enjoy the humorous footnote where I illustrate mirror symmetry by likening?
Michael, I prefer to be likened to a rocket.
I liken your situation to that of Pavlov's dog.
He likened it to how they grow square watermelons.
Passerby likened me to a tennis ball.
My father likened it to the apocalypse.
Needed anniversary planning time.
Getting some much-needed rest.
To go on a much needed vacation.
Provide much needed sarcasm. Provided much needed catharsis.
So you're mixing fresh water with brackish water.
Tell him off, Sammy.
No, I thought you were telling me off.
Tell her off in private.
Got a wife, God knows he loves her, but she's burning a hole in his pocket.
Yeah, it's that hole burning in my pocket from the money this is going to be worth.
Of fat cats with money burning holes in their pockets. Potential With my hooker money still burning a hole in my pocket.
I got $120 burning a hole in my pocket, so...
That money just burning a hole in your pocket, ain't it?
Burning a hole in my pocket.
You're burning a hole in your pocket?
Make some calls and see what bridges I haven't burned.
Well, burned all my bridges at Dunder Mifflin.
A wise man does not burn his bridges.
You burned bridges with pretty much everyone here.
Already burned our last bridge.
Quit my job, burned all my bridges.
It's too late. We've burned that bridge.
Cultivate, I didn't just burn bridges behind me.